That says live. Those don't say live yet, so I don't know if that's true or not. We shall see in a moment. Live one and the other one's not. Well, we will hope that Twitch does actually catch in as well, but hello YouTube. I'm not expecting many people to come along. I really should have announced something. We can do that now. But before that, I'm having a little bit of this beer. Mm, delicious. Right, welcome. For those who don't know, I'm South Ketchup VR, and welcome to my little studio. Hopefully you can hear me. It says that you can there, which is really good. And I've got a SpeechBot still, like I normally do, because I'm so used to having SpeechBot in my ear. So that's the way I'm doing it. Uh, Unusually for me, of course, I'm actually here in suit because I kind of just got back from work a little while ago, and therefore, you know, it's a little bit unexpected. It's a different type of stream. This one, it's like a there's things arriving tomorrow, and I want to sort of like do a little bit of something before I change everything around again because I haven't put out the videos of some of the bits that are already done and some of the bits that aren't really done, and there's a lot of bits that aren't done, and there's a lot of bits that are done or partly done, and blah blah blah. So I thought I'd, do this kind of thing. It's also an excuse for me to try out a new video camera. So we've got a brand new camera because why? Black Fridays, sales, and all of that. So we've got the old camera is sitting over there, which you'll see sitting up there in a bit, which I think is going to be turned into a foot cam at some point. And we've got this new camera, which is the Brio 4K Stream Edition. Ta-da! Logitech bit, which does 60 FPS and all of that at 1080. So, and can do 4K as well. Only testing out the 60 FPS here at 1080. See how that goes. Um, oh, Twitch is live as well. Hello, Twitch. Twitch is actually working. That's good. I should put something out on Twitter as well. But you yeah, it's good. What can I say about the cam so far? I don't know. I'll have to watch what the quality looks. It looks good there. Hopefully, it looks good to you guys. Um, but yeah, at near 50% off, I was sort of like, yeah, I'm gonna have it. So, under £100 basically. Hopefully, it works nicely, and will do a good job, and will hopefully aid in making some more streams at some point, which I need to get back into. And there's a lot of things I need to get back into, and maybe I'll delve a bit into that as we go on. Right, so what we've got first of all, I suppose I should give you a quick tour of the desk or everything in general. Hmm, I don't know. If you do know, speak in chat. I'm happy to answer questions as well. I think the desk is the quintessential part that should go first. So as you can see, we've got a nice big desk here with a triple monitor layout. This one's not on at the moment. this one I basically use for work. So that's with coding and stuff like that. You can see we've got, it's quite a long desk. It's about 160 mil long. It's made from a solid piece of rosewood. So, well, solid pieces of rosewood. So it's pretty thick there, and it's about 100 and what did I say? It's 160 mil long by 80 mil deep, and it's a good 40, 800 mil. Ugh. So let me rehash that again, shall I? God, I'm not doing well at the moment, am I? Wow. It's 1,600 mil long by 800 mil deep. I think that's it. I think that's it. And it's like 40 mil thick. So it's a good solid piece of wood. It's also on a raisable frame, which is pretty cool. I'll get a different angle for that. Like I say, 3 monitors, 2 IS, AS, however you say that. They're both 1080p's. This one can actually do 144 hertz, but it's an older one, so it did that through an older interface. It was my main gaming monitor. They're 27 inches, both of these. And then we have a 24-inch IMA panel here. Like I say, that's a work monitor. I'll show you the main PC rig. Let's take the step back, shall we? We're going to take the step back so you can see the whole rig. There's the... Hopefully the autofocus works there. Is it working good? So, yeah, it's literally pretty cool. Quite a big desk, and of course it does that. So it's a walking desk. Can go pretty high. Oh, for God, it doesn't. It's not a good angle, that is it? So we'll show there. Okay. So yeah, it goes pretty high, and the reason it's basically was bought as separate legs and then the one piece of wood to go on top. So completely custom in that. Nobody else has this particular desk, which is nice. I like having something that was a little bit unique. Also, the computer under there, the cut off from this piece of wood, because this piece of wood was bought as a 2000 mil, yeah, so 2 meter long slab of wood. So the offcut I used to make a stand for the main computer there, and that's been put on some casters, so I can move the computer around pretty easily because it's a hefty beast. That thing weighs a ton. Um, the computer itself, this is my main gaming PC. In here we've got an i7 9800K, which unfortunately doesn't have hyper-threading. It's an unhyper-threaded one, which is was an odd decision on Intel, but the price-wise I thought was good, and a lot of VR games that I was looking at playing and Sims were heavily single core performance based and didn't really use the hyper-threading so well. So I thought I would save myself some money on that and went with that particular processor. To go with that, and as you can see, we got some RGB headed DRAM, so that's Corsair RAM that's in there. It's let me see, DDR4 3200, and I believe it's C16 RAM. Probably, but when you speed it up, it's got the XML on part, it's C15 on the front header parts of it and things like that, so that's quite good. 32 gig of RAM in there. You can also see, hopefully from there, the beautiful lights along the side of the main video card, which is an MSI RTX 3080. It's the Supreme version, which is a bit faster. They overclock it over the top there. Triple fan there. The processor is liquid cooled. It's a closed loop. So we've got three 24 yeah, not 24 millimeter there, 24 centimeter fans in the top. There's fans at the rear, fan at the front, and we have a what's the power supply in this one? I think I've got an 850 power supply in this one. Yeah, 850 gold or something like that. Okay. Thanks, Fitted. Nice to hear from you. How do you like the basic desk layout? And well, you'll have to watch it back, obviously, like you said. Hopefully, you're going out to do something fun. So that's the main desk, basically. I've got some arms in here. These monitors are all articulated on arms, and so that's two double arms on here. So I can actually have four monitors on the desk alone, which at some points I have had. I have had another monitor up above this one before as well. So I can just literally move those pretty much as I like. I tend to like having that though that way. What else we got? Chair. New chair, because my old chair, which is over there, which you'll see in a moment, is it's rather got worn. So this chair is actually an Amazon's Basic, believe it or not. It's pretty comfy. But I think I'm gonna change it still. It's a Amazon Basics Yumi. It's got for your back there this headrest, which doesn't do much good unless you're leaning back. It does lean back all the way. It's all sort of mesh based, but it's being better for my back and my posture than the old DX Race that I had that was wearing out. But yeah, if you're going to get one of these chairs, the headrest doesn't do much unless you're actually leaning back. And for reference, I'm like 6 foot tall. Oh boy. Right, let's move on from that bit, shall we? Where to next? Oh, I guess we've done one computer. you might be wondering why there's a second computer under here, because my work computer is actually over there. This is the spare parts will be streaming PC. So we're going to have main gaming PC, which currently is gaming and streaming. And this is going to become a dedicated streaming PC. So this actually has what was my original computer that I started the channel out with. The motherboard, RAM, and so on for that is what was in there. It was an Intel i7 5820K, which is a hex core hyper-threaded one there. And it's sitting on an X99 motherboard. Well, X99A motherboard. It's got quad channel RAM, so DDR4 quad channel, C16, 32 gigs of that. That's at 2666. Obviously you use XMP with that, and that was more built and tuned for video editing rather than playing games, which is why I was keen to change out the CPU and the RAM on the next build to make it a little bit more game oriented, because it does some other different things there. Yeah, I kind of like have only just got home from work sort of thing, did a couple of chores, and I'm still afraid that it is a bit messy around the studio at the moment, because there is an incident that's happened with the dustbins, particularly our cardboard recycling dustbin, which I share with flats. Um, in that the whole big industrial bin went into the back of the dumpster, and they couldn't get it out, and it got bent and whatever else, and they haven't replaced it yet. So I've got a lot of cardboard and paper hanging around the place that I want to get rid of, but I don't want to not put in recycling. So there is more cardboard boxes around the place than I would care for, but that's what it is. How are you, by the way, Deej? Hmm, a little bit unfortunate, but anything you're interested in as well, Deej? Give us a question and I will answer and show. Um, let's see. Let's move on to the next part, of course, which is perhaps the piece de resistance. Well, let's move on to the rig itself, the racing rig. So we're going to change angles, and we're going to come around this way, I think. I'm going to get the chair out of the way, and there we go. Let's give you the wide angle on some of this as the studio on everything. So yeah, that's the sort of wider field view of what's going on with the studio. Um, as you can see, it's like this is the main racing rig. It was a GT Omega Alpha stand. And it's been added to with their what they call the backseat frame, which doesn't make a sense really when you think about it, because backseat frame is not what you get in this, because the frame actually is the front seat. So it's a back frame, but it's a front seat, which attaches basically below the original GT Omega Alpha stand. Yeah, it'd be good to see some information of PSVR 2 at some point. Obviously, that's one thing that you'd need to be aware of here is at the moment what I'm running here is the index valve. So that's all hooked up there. And we do have some different systems. So we've got a rig on the ceiling for tethers, basically, to keep all up out of the way and to keep the wires out of the way and to keep the movement on your head um, feeling more natural, so it feels less tethered and more as though it didn't have a tether, basically. But it does, and it's just a pulley system. I use the Kiwi Designs pulley system. Um, I know there are some Kiwi Design products that uh, Kiwi Designs have given me. They didn't give me the these tethers. Um, so I actually purchased those all myself. So definitely my own opinion. They're brilliant. They're cool. They work. But basically, yeah. Let's get a closer view of the rig. Get up from there. Uh, get a closer view of the rig. So that's basically what we've got going on there. It's not bad, but it's going to get better. So what we've got here, like I say, there is the original part where the brakes are and the wheels stand, which is the GT Omega Alpha stand, and that's what I had for quite a while. I had a different stand originally, which I used with the G29. I then still had this stand and was using it still with the G29 because the old stand had like a central column and it got in the way, and this was a lot nicer and a lot more stable. If if you're struggling for space and you're looking for a stand, then the GT Omega Alpha is pretty damn sturdy and does a good job. It is a pretty weighty stand actually, and with the new DD wheels that are out there as well, it will hold up. I would say it would definitely hold up as just the stand and not just as the full extension that I've got here. You can see obviously the back seat extension that happened to that down there, and you can see where that joins back into the seat here. The weak point of this stand though is where the front portion here joins into the seat. There is only one bolt on each side near the front here, and it's a bit of a lever point. So what would be happening is that I don't like about this stand is that I'd be in here, or this rig, should I say, I'd be in here and you'd be going into a corner, you've missed the braking point and you've pushed hard and it feels a bit like you can feel leverage coming up there. So yeah, well, if you have a stand already, this is one of those routes that you can go of upgrading. But like I say, this particular stand, I think that's its only really big issue. I had to say the back seat upgrade for this was incredibly cheap. It was like the stand itself you can get for like 150, 170, something like that. And then the whole of the back seat frame, as it were, was 80 odd pounds, which was great. And then you need a chair to go on it, which any chair with a slider basically pretty much works on this. What I've got on here is actually a GT Omega XL chair. The chair by itself was £170. So it it wasn't too bad. Now this is all being replaced, which is a bit of why I'm doing the studio tour. Is this rig is going to be replaced with the new GT Omega Prime. Is it the Prime? Yes. I should always remember my own things. I don't always. Let's get you some information there. Gee. So, what we're going to have on here is the new Prime cockpit. Just see if you can see that there. So this is what we are going to change over to, is this Alpha Prime. So that should be pretty sweet. I'm going to keep, obviously, the seat that I've got on here. There you go. I'm going to be keeping that on there. But we're going to have that in below it rather than what we've got, which was wheel stands. So I had the Apex wheel stand. So that's what I had. So that wheel stand was 119. Yeah. So normal regular price 150 is the initial thing that I had for racing. And then from that bit you can also get some additional things. So it's reasonable. It folds up like that because I didn't have much space. So that did the job, and that's basically what my stand would look like most of the time when it was folded away for storage, and I'd get it out and blah blah blah. Right? Then you can get some additional bits for that. So Apex accessories, and they have, like it says, the Apex rear seat frame. It's quite a mouthful, and that was £75 basically, and that's the bit that sits under the bottom there. But like I say, there's one issue, and that is that here, in this portion here, is connected by one bolt on that side and one bolt on that side, and I don't like what that does for sturdiness of the whole frame. But other than that, it was a good route to go. So you can get basically for not too much some good stuff there. You can also get obviously that Apex accessories. It says about there rear seat frame, but it doesn't include the seat, of course. Then you need the seat itself, which you can get as cockpit seats, any of their basic seats here. So it's like the chairs like that, but without the wheels. So yeah, they're chairs like that, or you can do the racing seats. There we go, cockpit racing seats. So the seats are done separately. This is the one that I have here, the XL RS. So it was £180 when I got it. Currently £160 basically. And as you can see, it's got the slider on the bottom. That'll fit onto this rig, or it'll fit onto the new one that I'm getting, which is, of course, this Prime cockpit. So that's going to be good fun. Right, let's get back to some of the other equipment. What have we got? Other bits and bobs. Let's talk about the other panel. So, monitor number 4. I have a few monitors around here. This one I don't use so much, but it's actually a 4K panel. Max 4K 60 HDR panel. AS. I can't remember exactly what model number. I don't use that much. It's hooked into my PS4 Pro, and it's also hooked into the main gaming monitor, gaming PC. And basically, I only use that occasionally for a couple of things. Maybe have somebody come round who hasn't been in VR before, and you don't want to throw them straight into racing on in VR because they could get motion sick, but they want to try the cockpit out. So if they're going to flat screen, that's what that's for. It's on a stand which I can move forwards and backwards a bit and reposition. It can be repositioned up and down. Doesn't have a tilt function, but that's okay as long as it can fit where I need it. And that's good enough for what it is, especially since I don't use it that much. But if I was gonna, chill out and just watch or play on the PlayStation, which I don't do so much nowadays, that's the monitor that I would play on the PlayStation Pro with, because that's hooked up there through there with the 4K and the HDR. So that's the best choice for doing that. But it, like I say, it acts as a repeater screen for the main screen of the PC as well. So if I have anybody over who might who hasn't done VR but they want to just try out the racing rig more, then they can use that as well. Let's get into the other parts that we've got here on the rig. So let's see. First off, of course, is the base. So gloves. I know a lot of people. This is one thing I'll have to say about sim racing and gloves. Some people think that it's a little pretentious, maybe, but the reason for it is actually a lot of it to do with longevity. So if you're going to do any endurance races, so you're going to be on there for a long time, your hands can get a lot of fatigue, a real lot of fatigue. And with these, with their grippy the grippy nature of them, it helps out a lot on that because you don't have to grip the steering wheel as hard. So it helps you relieve that tension that you get in your hands and build up. I don't personally suffer from it, but a lot of people sort of like say about getting sweaty palms and stuff like that when they've been racing for long periods of time. I'm fortunate in that I don't really get sweaty palms. Um, but if you do, the gloves will save you a lot there as well. It'll save you from getting blisters. So, yeah, gloves. I do recommend a decent pair of gloves myself because they've really helped me out on the being able to race for longer and be more comfortable. Um, and it gives you a surer grip. The other thing is if you've got a nice steering wheel like this, I know this one's made of like a rubber grip on it, but it's still nice to keep these things pristine. And possibly if I go to something that has Alcantara on it or different leather, you don't want it to be continually worn away, and the gloves will help uh, keep that sort of cost down and in order. Damn box getting in the way there. Right, from that, gloves taken care of. We'll come on to the main drive base, which I've had a couple of bases on this stand already now. So this is the third drive that I've had. Um, the first, of course, being the G29. The second was the Fanatec CSL Elite, um, which is the PlayStation version. So it's an Elite Plus, which came with a P1 wheel. And now we have here the Fanatec CSL DD. That is the latest bit of kit from Fanatec. Still hard to get your hands on one of these. And of course, they've just announced the release of the GTDD Pro, which has a PlayStation version of this, because unfortunately, this is a PC only version. Well, PC and Xbox, depending on the wheel rim that you've got plugged into it. So we have. Let's also talk about wheel rims. So you can place different rims into here. Which way is unlock? That way is unlock. So we're going to. You can see the amount of movement there was on the stand there. Obviously, you normally have your feet pushing against the brakes and whatever, but it gives you a clue as to what I was saying about rigidity of the stand. But that was rather more extreme than you're going to feel in the race. But yeah, so it's got standard quick release part here, which is the QR1. Yeah, that is a lot of play, JD. Um, but that's because of that bolt point at the bottom of the rig, where it's only got two bolts that hold this back seat to the front part of the rig. So where I've only got my weight currently on the seat and no weight over the pedals, I'm not pushing on the pedals at all. That makes it a lot more susceptible to flex that way. And of course, if you actually feel tension in the race and you're braking hard and you pull back, you then feel this flex, which is the downside of this particular rig, which is why I'm getting the Prime Kit cockpit, which the Prime cockpit will be arriving tomorrow, hopefully at some point. And I wanted to kind of like give a bit of a tour of what I've got now, how I've built up, so you get an idea of how I've built it up and where it's at and what you can expect from it. Especially if you're a heavy guy like me and you sit back here. So that I am quite a heavy guy is doing okay. But what I did tend to do was I put a couple of wedges in between a bit of the bottom frame to help shore it up a little bit. But those wedges over the course of a race can come loose. Uh, so there's that. But anyhow, that's the quick release on there. Um, and that's the main point there. Right, let's come on to the wheel that I've got with this. Yeah, yeah. Especially with something like this and more forwards. The Prime will work for anything because it's very similar to the SimLabs PX1 is a similar type of product. They're both aluminium frames that are all sort of like similar sized tubing. So that's sort of like that extrusion frames, which is so common, and you can get so much stuff for extrusion frames that a lot of stuff from one frame will often work on another frame as well. But from that, um, it's not bad. It's not bad for what it does, and it served me well. Um, but it is time to move on a little more. Yeah, there's the comparison. It's my hand size. It may seem small, but this still weighs a good sort of like I think it's close to 10 kilograms in weight. So, although this looks like a small base, um, it's still very, very heavy. It really is quite uh, shocking when you first lift one of these up and you go, right, it's tiny, and you go to lift it up and you go, oh my god, it weighs a lot. So, yeah, I'm not sure what the exact weight on one of these is, but something from 8 to 10 kilograms, something like that. That this base weighs, and obviously the design on the new um, GT Pro is it's basically the same motor, apart from it has a different chip in it, and the GT Pro has a circular front part. So this front part is plastic, then it's a solid block of metal, and then it's a plastic end cap. And on the GT7 Special Edition, if you like, the GT Pro DD, that's all circular. So the PlayStation one has a circular thing and a circular back with a blue accent on the rear. At the rear of this, there is a difference between this drive and the DD Pro in that this one also has a data port at the back. So it has a USB-C type data port at the back for output as well. So you've got two USB. One goes to the PC, and then it also has an auxiliary USB-C type port. So basically, it acts like a hub as well if you want to plug something else into this here. For instance, I've got this shifter. I don't know. I think I can actually put my HSS shifter as it is if I have the right USB cable. If I have this old square typed USB to a USB-C, then I'm not 100% sure, but I think I can actually plug this into this as well. But I haven't tested that out. I'm going to test that out at some point because for USB wiring and stuff, that will keep it a lot neater. Because at the moment, I have that wire running down here, down the leg as well, and across to the PC. And that's a pain in the backside. So it'd be nicer if I could get a shorter cable and make that nicer on the new frame, just to save on some wiring, or to place another hub, say another USB hub into here and out or whatever. I don't know if that's possible. But going back to the other thing on here, of course, quick release. Quick release on here. Fanatec systems have basically a couple of quick release systems. The QR1, and this is the update to the CSL version of the QR1. The original versions used to have a clamp and a screw, and they've updated it so you have this turny clasp bit. And then the other type of clamp you have, I'm going to excuse myself for a moment. We'll go get another steering wheel. Right. We'll take one of those from there as well. And I'll grab a little bit of a drink while I'm at it. Nice. So, here's another steering wheel. This is a really crappy steering wheel, but the back of it is a universal hub. You can kind of see in the middle there where there would be a horn. The back plate here has got like a load of different holes, so depending on where you need the bolts for whatever steering wheel, they've usually got a set of places where you can put those in, and that's really kind of handy. I have actually ordered some new rims, so I've got a small Formula One style, old school Formula One style rim coming, which will be great if we're racing things like Lotus T97s. For instance, they had that small circular rim, so it's pretty much the same as the rim that would be in a T97, the new one that I'm getting. But this was a crappy, low price, rubberized rim that I got off of eBay just to test this out, because I got this universal hub, which is the version 1 universal hub. The version 2 universal hubs, you can actually unscrew the quick release part from and replace it, just as on the GT3, the McLaren one over there that I showed you before. That entire plastic section can actually be replaced with a Club Sport adapter, which is basically the metal version of this. So you have the whole sort of rim thing where you do that type of thing, and you just sort of like line it all up, and boom, boom, boom. There you done. You've got a new wheel on here, and it it works basically. Um, one of the things that I'll have to say as well is that you notice a difference between if you're coming from a belt drive and to a direct drive such as the DD, the CSL DD, is that it doesn't have a hard stop point. So I can literally do that continually forever. And it doesn't have a problem with that. When you're in game, of course, it has soft points, so it has a soft stop point. And I just sort of dump. There we go. It's found its place in center there. There's a little readout in the middle here. All of the settings can just be changed. There's some buttons up the top here, and then we've got some different button clusters that we can rearrange, and you can rewire however you like. Little magnet, neodyme magnet shifters. These shifters were replaced from the original ones. The original ones are a wider type circular deal, but I bought that second hand off of eBay, and they'd replaced it with the smaller formula style paddles. Unfortunately, this version of the Universal Hub, I can't put the advanced paddle module on this one, but I got it cheaper than you can get the version 2, so I wasn't too bothered about that. There's not many things out there that I'm going to need to use the advanced paddles for, and I'd probably get maybe an updated one at some other point down the road, where I'll get a actual dedicated formula rim for that with the advanced paddle module on it, something like that. Let's switch that off. So yeah, that is that part. So I'm going to put that back on the table. Oh, by the way, this eventually will be mounted up on the wall. So I'm going to have some mounts, so you can get like little mounts like this, and similarly, I can just put it up, bam, in like that, and basically that's in mounted, and these will screw onto the wall, and you can have yourself some nice rims mounted on the wall, and know they will be secure and safe, and that the pins, I don't know if you've seen the pins in here. Let's see if we can show you that, if the camel show you that or not. Yep, you can see down in there are pins in there that connect into the central part of the quick release system, so that it can still, no matter what, free spin as many times as you like without it actually causing any problems to connections and wires and things like that, which is really awesome. Let's put this back over here. Any questions, JD? How are you doing, by the way? Hopefully you are well. Right, there's that. Let's talk about shifters, shall we? So, we've got shifters. I've got two shifters on here. We've got this one here, which is SHH shifter. It's actually a 3D printed shifter. It's all metal internal, but the outside is a 3D print, and then it's got a nice sort of I don't know what that material is. Quite a hard plastic at the top. It's quite low priced. I think it's just under $100, and basically it's two function. So it can be a full-on 7-gear sequential with a reverse. It came with two different gear knobs, and it can also be do that, and you've immediately got yourself a proper sequential rather than H-pan. I said the wrong thing first of all, didn't I? I said sequential when I meant to say H-pan. So you've got 7-gear H-pan with reverse. You can buy it as a 6 as well, but I think that's the 6, and you just change the plate to have less points. But I was sort of like, what's the point? I'll go with the 7. So I did. But most of the time I have this on sequential. For the price, I think this is really cool. What you would have seen before, of course, is down here, which I tend to use as stand there, is the good old Logitech D29, which is modded. There's a little mod inside there to make it have a harder pull. So I'm still using this when I do full manual, which I think with the new rig I may change that around a bit. I may change over stuff and rely more on this until I get on the SHH and go with that. Then the Handbrake was a really cheap Chinese type of handbrake, which is basically what they use for real cars. Actually, this can be used in a real car, and they just adapted it for having the USB board inside it, so you've got an analog handbrake there. Cheap as chips, does the job for what I was looking for. Unfortunately, it wasn't really mounted in a good place for rallying. I need to sort out that and do a bit of rallying again, because rallying was always fun. So that's the gear shifters and the basic thing there. What else we got? We got pedals. So yeah, down there, let's take a look at the pedals. Let me see my socks. Can we get in there with the camera? Yeah, I think so. So we've got some Club Sport V3s. I need to do some wire management at the moment, but basically, Club Sport V3, what can I say? All metal construction, feels wonderful. It's got clutch there. We've got a load cell pedal. I've also got the brake tuning kit on this. I have this set to quite a hard setting. It's not the hardest level that the brakes can go. You can see there's very little movement in that. It really is a quite a solid thing. But you can see where there's, a bit of flex. It's one thing that I am going to be a little bit worried about with the GT Omega Prime cockpit, is that it still has a very similar sheet of steel for the pedals. But we'll see how it does, and if not, we can always replace it because it's an aluminium profile rig. It will be replaceable with some other bits that would fit the aluminium profile. So that would be quite cool. I could, for instance, swap out a Simulabs mounting plate and maybe a slider to give myself a quickly variable cockpit for different sizes. But yeah, so that's a load cell with the brake performance kit. If you're going to get a set of Club Sport V3s, pretty much everyone recommends getting the performance kit with it. It's like €30 extra on top. So it's really quite cheap, and it's just like these jelly meshable things that go in there, and you can then adjust more how you feel about it. I also have a dampener, which I've got on the accelerator at the minute. So obviously dampener you'd normally put on the brake, but I felt like the accelerator was just a little bit too uh, it didn't feel as solid as I kind of wanted it to. So the dampener on a really low setting really does make this accelerator pedal feel like the business, and that is important to me. Um, I've just got the standard brake pedals on here. You can replace, obviously, these parts. There is a particular kit that I'm interested in getting because I want to replace this central brake pedal with one that's actually slightly wider on both sides, so that it has closer. Because I have a problem with turning my foot inwards. So whenever you're doing, your heel towing on older cars, so you've got your clutch in, you come into brake, you put your clutch in, and you go like that way. Whenever I do that, it's not too comfortable sometimes. So I want to bridge a bit of that gap by having a bit of a wider pedal there. And then, because it'll be wider on both sides, when I'm doing GT, which is, we do GT4 racing more than I do anything else, or GT3, sorry, GT3 more than I do anything else. So it'll give me that bit where I've not got my feet as close together on the pedals when I don't want them, but when I do want it, I'll have that extra reach on the pedal to be closer, so that my heel towing will be a little bit more comfortable for me. Um, so little things like that, which are quite important when you're doing that. Let's move on to something else in the studio. Okay, so that's pretty much the studio at a glance. Other bits that we've got to do here. Obviously, like the title suggests, I'm not done yet with the studio setup. So we have a lot of work to do on DIY side with the paint back there. So I've got some panels that are going to go across this wall in a white that are kind of in shapes or whatever, just so that it will change the sound profile of the room a little. Coming along down this wall, we're going to have some steering wheels will be mounted into here as well, up on the wall. Then we've got like the lighting that we've got in here. So lighting wise, I've only got a couple of lights at the moment. So we've got square LED light, and then we've got the circular type light. You can see my old racing seat here, which with the leftovers of this, I might put a second rig in my spare room. So if people come to visit, they can play PlayStation 4 on the second rig, or whatever else, or I can play Gran Turismo Sport on second rig as well, because I don't know what we can have going on, but can do something like that. But basically, I can take that seat off of the wheels and just put a sliding frame like that's under the bottom of this underneath there, and bam, there's an instant seat that we can use. Um, the rest of the space, so this is like an open space. So let's take you on a bit of a tour of that. Come in here. Ooh, let's see. So yeah, um, that was the main gist of it. So table, rig. Let's put that back on there before I do something very silly with the beer. I do not want to destroy a wheel. Lock that in there. Uh, and have a sip of beer. Ah, right. So yeah, table. Like I say, go back and see that raising all the monitors, keyboard, of course. If you haven't seen the keyboard, keyboards are important to anybody. You got like a couple of keyboards on this desk. This is a Corsair K 95 RGB. It's the original one, the K95, I think, with the little tramp stamp logo, and I don't know if you can see that too well. I'll let me just take this off of here, and we'll see if we can see. It's looking a little bit rough there. I need to dust that. God, that looks dusty. I haven't dusted it in a. I haven't pulled the dust off in a week. But yeah, so that's the old Corsair logo that was kind of nicknamed the tramp stamp. You can kind of see why. Um, and they changed that out because everybody obviously was saying tramp stamp logo, blah blah blah. Mouse wise, I also have a Corsair mouse here. So yeah, lovely jubbly, and you can obviously make this keyboard as 4 RGB. Can do all of the RGB gubbins. But there's one thing that I really did like about this keyboard, and that was the function keys. 18 macro keys. 18. How are you doing, Kevy? Um, good to see you. Any questions that I can show you around the space? If you haven't seen any of the rest of the stream, you can obviously do a rewind. Thumbs ups are appreciated, but if you've got a particular question you want to know about, then I'll try to answer it. But yeah, it's sort of like give you the very quick over tour. We're going to do the really odd holding this on the selfie stick. New cam, by the way. This is this camera. So I only got that the other day. So we're testing that out and stuff. And obviously there's the rig. And this, obviously the frame is going to be changed over from this sort of apex frame and back seat frame over to a prime cockpit, so it's all going to be aluminium profile, which is going to be awesome. Still with the same seat on there, um, which is cool. Oh, by the way, we've also got a sub pack sitting on the back of this frame, so I can turn the sub back on, and it does put some um, rumbles through that seat, but I only do that now and again. What else we got in here? Oh yeah, there's the main PC. If you haven't seen it, let's get you close to the main one. Oh bless you. So that's my main rig in there. The waterfall of lights. It's awesome. This is what is going to be the streaming PC. That's the spare parts, but I haven't even put an operating system in there. Yeah, but it's going to be there. We've also got Deck and Move on here. So I haven't actually tested this out yet. I have got it set up, but I haven't tested it out. I was going to test it out, and to help test that out, of course, on the ceiling I have got all of the Kiwi pulleys, and I have ones that's here for the racing, so you can see that goes down to my index, and then we've got another set here where you've got two, a line two there, and then it comes across, and you've got three up the top there that goes into a central one, so that when you are doing your bit in the main sort of space there, like I say, at the moment there's an issue with getting rid of cardboard that I'm really annoyed about, but blah blah blah. Long story short, there's no recycling bin for cardboard and paper at the moment. I'm waiting for that. Council has been told. Um, Basically, this thing pulls down there, and basically, whenever you're moving, it will follow you around. So wherever you're going, you've got like a sort of equal tension on the wire, so that you don't feel the wire so much, and you don't go tripping over it. And you do have to, of course, remember to make sure the wire goes up through the other parts so that the wire is up out of the way of your arms. Um, and that means that when you're flailing around, your arms in whatever room scale VR, that isn't a problem there as well. Um, so yeah, there's that. We've got obviously other rooms back there. Very much a work in progress still. Even though I've been here for like a year, there's a lot of DIY to be done and a lot of various situations that have kind of got in the way. But some of those are just pure excuses, and where I've ended up going, I'm going to be a lazy bugger, and I should have done better. One of the other things I've done, actually, which I have actually managed to get done, is up there. I don't know if you can see that. There is a rail that runs along this entire space and then comes round here. So we've got the kitchen space that's there. It's an open plan space, so kitchen space that's there. And then we've got my living room that's over here, my couch. Like I say, it's a bit of a mess at the moment. And we've got my Don't Panic towel there, my lovely towel. You always need to know where your towel is, basically, and that's how I know not to panic at any point in time because I know where my towel is. Right. Yeah. So living room space, like I said, open plan space, kitchen. But whenever I want, if I'm doing a big VR thing, I can just pull out the green screen and it'll go all the way around that space there, which is pretty cool. So when I don't have the cardboard to deal with and stuff like that, then it's just a case of I might move this movable table with the fold-out chair that's back there out of the way. You'll also notice some artwork that's waiting to be put up. I've got a decorator on call who I'm waiting on a date. Oh, excuse me, I need a drink. I've been yabbering on for a while, man. So, yeah, I've got a decorator that hopefully soon will give me a date on when he can come and do the stairway there, um, all there, and that's going to be all white. And I've got a bit of a unique bit of artwork for it. You can see down here. That's one canvas. In behind here, there's another 8 canvases. So those are going to fill that entire back wall there. And I'll make one big super image. A little fun thing you can see in, let's see if you can see that properly. I don't know if you can. Yeah, roughly. See if you can spot something that's rather odd about this Tokyo skyline. By the way, the photo is one that I took. It was taken in Akiba. Or if you know your areas in Tokyo, Akihabara, which is Electronic City, home to geeks and technology-based people all around. But basically, there's one thing in these ads, and that's obviously I had to replace one of the billboards, and you can see that's me in from where was it? Oh, Kyoto. In full kimono, and it felt so cool to be there in a place like that that is full on sort of boss mode stuff. Yeah, he did. It's the sort of thing you can imagine Kev doing and being. But yeah, I understand his apprehension. Well, apprehension, appreciation. Yeah, there you go, appreciation. Yeah, his rogue's due on Wednesday. Mine's due tomorrow. Um, Hopefully, I'll get enough time to get everything set up and running and everything for Friday. Because there's a lot of work to do, and I'm hoping that obviously by then I'll have somewhere to put all the cardboard. So I can't put any more cardboard in my garage, and I've got too much cardboard laying around here. One of the other things I do have to say about the stairwell part and that light, of course, is this stairwell doesn't get enough light to it, and there's no other lighting fixtures. So what I am doing is got a strip light to go there, which is currently sitting over on my sofa. Which, if I say, let me see, hey Google, turn on the stairwell light. There we go. So that would be really cool. And I can get, say, hey Google, turn the stairwell light blue. Should do it. There we go. So that's going to be really cool in that I can just change the whole mood of things. Yeah, it's the same as I tend to keep some boxes, but there's other things going on. Oh, cool. What base mount have you got? By the way, AeroX, welcome as well. Good to hear from you. While, we're not in any positions to crash into one another. But yeah, hey Google, turn off the stairwell lights. So yeah, that's kind of cool. Um, so what base mount have you got? Arrow? Ooh, nice. So let's see. Yeah, I'm too lazy to do that. The boxes type thing has mounted up. I mean, it's just ridiculous. But there's boxes that you do keep for a while where you have a product that you've got that's been quite expensive, and you want to keep the box for a while just to make sure, the very least, the product works properly before you get rid of the box. But then there are the more really expensive stuff like some of the Fanatec boxes and that I wanted to keep, or something where they retain value, um, and you want to keep them. I kind of like do that a little bit. Not I don't usually do it majorly, but I do it a little bit. I think it's because I'm wary that um, I don't think I'm going to move from here for a good long time because price wise, this area works for me. It works for me being single and whatever else, and having the space that I want at the price that I can afford. Made this a very good sort of space. These monitors, well, these are 27s. Uh, well, the main one over here, this one is 27 or 28? I think it's still a 27. Or was it 28? I think it's 28. I think it's 28. I can't remember. I'll tell you which model it is in a moment. Let me just turn it on. Where's the thing gone? It's there. Just a second. Dun, dun, dun. You can see that as basically becomes a replica of my main monitor screen there, and then I can tell you that it was actually, yes, you're saying, it's a 28. So that particular panel is a ASVP 28U. So there you go. It's a 28-inch 4K 4K at 60. Um, I think it can do. I don't know if it can do higher refresh rate if you do others, but the input of 4K is 60. I think you can do 120 at the lower resolution. So you can place, what is it, 1.4 something, which is your basically your 2K resolution. I think it does the higher 120 rate, and is HDR spec as well. So not too bad, not too bad. It's about 300 odd quid, so it was reasonable. You know, the thinking was that I was going to play a bit more PlayStation on there, or have watched films or whatever while I'm just sitting in the rig or whatever at different points. Basically, when I was working and need 10 minutes away from work, that I can just because normally when I'm working from home, I normally have all three of these monitors are just dedicated to my work. So I have the other HyperX keyboard there. So yeah, even when I was in the office, I took in a proper keyboard. I can't stand dome keyboards. So I have a real preference for cherry red silent keys. So you can be gentle with them. They've got a nice quick activation points, and basically that HyperX came up at one of the shows. So that's a full cherry red. It's only got red backlighting, and it was like 50 quid. So the feel on the keys is exactly what I wanted. I didn't need any fancy RGB for the office. That it has red backlights is cool. But more it was about the feel of the keys while you're working, and that's always important, I think, for anybody who's coding or stuff like that. But obviously, mostly I work from home at the moment, so that is that. I also have a different when I'm working normally. Dear oh dear oh dear. Yeah, no. The other thing is obviously when you're working, I don't use a normal mouse. I use a scroll ball when I'm working, simply because of the repetitive strain injury of mice. is not good when you're just coding all the time and stuff like that. So I find that a lot better. I just had to replace with this one, so I only had this one for got this at the start of the week, and so far it's really comfortable next to the old one that I had. I had a Kingston one before this, and this is an Alcom Deft, um, and that's working out really well. So was 30 quid on a sale. I'm like, yeah, I'll take that wireless 30 quid on a sale. Good job. The rig should arrive tomorrow, which is why I'm doing this stream now. Because obviously I already have a setup and a rig and all of that deal in place at the moment. Um, and I wanted to sort of like be able to show on the channel sort of a progression. I do actually have other videos that I did of some of the other bits and pieces, but times being what they are, I still haven't edited them. A lot has been going on and then getting in the way, or sometimes too much laziness or too much tiredness. So getting to edit videos down properly is something that I really need to do, which is why that's actually down there as a pure editing machine rather than the gaming machine being the mix of the editor and that. It's also why I have another little control over here, which is great, by the way. If you are video editing, I highly recommend one of these. I don't know if you can see it back. Let's just get the shuttle. See how dusty it's gotten. Oh my god. See how long it's been since I've tried to edit anything. It's dreadful of me. But yeah, one of these. So this is a Shuttle Pro V2. Um, you can paste whatever you need in there, macro buttons up, and just great for video editing. Yes, I do have to get on using it. I keep on going back and forwards on that. I mean, there's a couple of games that have been coming out recently, isn't there? So that I could use that with. Um, I still need to go back into Skyrim again, and I also have oh, what do you call it? Lone Echo 2. I've got to do Lone Echo 2 still. Let's put this back on the tripod, shall we? When you go from handheld to tripod mode again. There we go. That's more comfortable gloves so you can go back to where you belong. I need to get a new pair of these as well, by the way. These are, in case anybody's wondering what type of gloves I use for sim racing, these are hyper grips. But as you can see, the Velcro part here that straps on there, and a little rubber bit is come away, but it doesn't affect how they go on because you can still Velcro up and it's fine. Okay, nice. Um, dude, if you are editing videos, having dedicated um shuttles, it's so much easier. A dedicated shuttle because I came from a an art video editing background, photography and video editing background. And so, analog editors and stuff like that, having proper editing shuttles and controls just so much nicer. Makes life when you're editing videos just feel a lot better. It feels much more natural and quicker and responsive for you to be creative when you have that. Hey, Great Tantrum, how are you? I'm doing okay. I'm having a bit of a beer. Um, Doing a bit of a live tour of the space, which has been going on for quite some time now and should finish up quite soon. Please feel free to go back over it as well. Hey JT, everybody's arriving to the party rather late, but that's my fault for not putting out a load of media tag streams of it. I'm just taking a bit of a tour around my studio, dude. Let me give you. I'm going to give you all, since everybody seems to be arriving now. We'll give you the quick version of the last couple of hours. So, what am I drinking? Oh, thank you. The thing at the back. By the way, I have to say this for anybody out there. Kaz and Sherry in particular. I picked up this on a video they made ages ago. If you have a heavy headset, like the Index, is pretty damn heavy, and it has a part like this in the back. If you have a ponytail and you put the ponytail through here, it relieves so much pressure off of your head. You will not believe it. It's incredible. So, it kind of works. Ponytails have functions when it comes to VR. Who knew that ponytails would be a good VR accessory? Nice. Right, quick tour short. So, new video camera that's being used is that one. So we'll have to see if that's okay. I've got it set to 1080p and 60 FPS at the moment. So hopefully everything's looking smooth and I would say dapper, but I'm not exactly the dapper type. The quick studio tour, of course, is here's the main desk, main gaming PC, the spare parts PC that will be a streaming PC that was made from the parts of my old PC and then got upgraded so that it has all other bits there and then got transferred into different points here. But I need to format and do stuff up with that. People are probably going, what the hell's that thing there? Which I didn't say about, and that's a foot massager because I had some different issues going on. 90s ponytail. I did have a ponytail in the 90s. I've reverted. There's a photo from me back when I was like different lighting situations. Let's do the right. Okay, so that's kind of working. Um, yeah, where were we? Blah 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 blah. Camera. wave, FPS, ponytail, main desk. It's party piece. So, party piece of the desk. I don't need to see under there because the wire management, I did plan stuff and had stuff stuck to the top and different things, and it's not quite working right yet. So I need to rethink the cable management a little bit better so that it stays up better. We'll get around to that at some point again, but there's bigger fish to fry. Yeah, it's great the effects you can do with that, especially when you've got a cam actually on the monitor. Yeah, it does. Uh, it's got some full-on extensions ability. Thank you. So that's the main desk, which has a what was the actual surface on here? Um, so obviously standing desk. I have a treadmill over there as well, which I haven't been on for a little while yet because I've had some different issues that did pop up, but I'll be getting back onto that more. Hopefully, if I start doing some more editing, while I'm doing my editing, I can be using the treadmill. So that is what that is intended for, so that you can just wheel the treadmill out, it goes under the desk, and you can be walking while you're doing your video editing. Maybe I should just do that and do a podcast now and again with a walk with salsa, you know, as a stream. I did think of doing one of those at one point, but I thought, nah. Right, so that's the desk. Then we've got the cockpit, which of course was originally not a permanent frame. It was the GT Omega um, Apex foldaway frame, and then you've got the uh, Apex frame rear seat mount, which is silly as a name because it's not a rear seat mount. It's a front seat mount because there's no rear seat in a racing rig that I know of. Someone probably out there probably does have one because there are some people that do some really crazy things, but this isn't it. But that's what it's called. But that was really great because it's like 70, 80 quid to transform the front part into a full rig and then however much you spend on a chair. So it made good value for money proposition out of something that I already had and to go, yeah, bam, 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 done. And that works great for the G29. But I do want something that's a bit more solidly built now, so that's why we've got the Prime arriving tomorrow. On here, of course, we've got the Fanatec CSL DD. Yeah, man, backseat racing for the winners, right? So we've got the CSL DD um, base, then a McLaren GT3 rim on there, which is cool. I've also got a universal hub. I've got some more rims coming and some other things there. We've got SHH shifter there. We've got a Logitech shifter over that side. A generic sort of analog handbrake. And we've got Fanatec Club Sport V3 pedals with the brake performance mod and a what do you call it? Thing for the well, this thing back here. There we go. There. Back here we've got like my work PC, PS4, and there's another PS4 down in that there as well. Over here we have big painting, well, big canvas. That's going to go up on that wall. There is actually 9 canvases that's going to go up on that wall to make one picture. And in here, I of course replaced one of the billboards with me in Kyoto. So it's a little bit of fun. Have kitchen over there. Oh, people was asking what beer I was drinking. Let's go see what beer I was drinking. So let's extension cable, come out this way. Come on. So beer that I was drinking is. Can we see in there? It's in there somewhere. Yeah, I think you can see it from there. Yeah, I know. I got the whole Steven Seagal, older Seagal thing going on there. Um, it was shocking when I discovered that as well. I was like, but I'll take it. Right. So yeah, that's generally the space. Oh, and of course we have the sofa. Um, the light strip. Forgive me. Partway through DIYing the lighting that's going to go up there, waiting for the decorator to come and do the stairwell because I'm not painting the stairwell. It's a high ceiling here, and stairwells with high ceilings and bloke my size on step ladders and that, not happening. I'm getting a professional to deal with that. So I'm just waiting for their availability date to come clear, and they kind of come in and do that and help me hang the canvases up and all that. But I will be putting the lighting which strip, which hey Google, turn on the stairwell lights. There we go. So that stairwell lights will be lighting up the stairwell. We've got a rail up here as well, which goes across, which is for green screen. So you can just pull the green screen all the way around the room, block off the kitchen there, block off the stairwell, and instant green screen room. We've got to keep all the wire tangles out of the way, we've got the pulley system up here, which we got 3 Kiwi design ones around there, outside there with the singular one inside there, and then a couple of more there to keep that wire up out of the way so that when you've got your arms waving around in the air and doing all the active things that I should be doing more of, that we know GT does, that it will keep that tether out of the way, and you're not going to get tangled up, and you're not going to have the feeling of being tethered, while you still get the performance of the tether there. So that's kind of cool. So we need to get back into that a bit. But that's all there for it. One feature I didn't show earlier, which is definitely needed, but like I said, there's so much cardboard around at the moment that she hasn't been out for a little while until we get the cardboard recycling bin back, and that is Cleaning McFloorface. Cleaning McFloorface sits over there, down in the living room, and Cleaning McFloorface is my floor cleaner, my robotic friend that goes and does all the vacuuming around here. Yeah, it's sort of like, what is this mad person doing? Um, yeah, yeah. Um, it does and stuff like that, but that's the thing of what it is, and people who know me know that I've got the whole VR gaming thing, and that's something that I enjoy, and that kind of works out. But it does what it does, and it works. So um, no way I'm tripping over a wire. Uh, I hated that all the time. Um, it's the downside of tethered VR is the wire on the ground and constantly worrying about it. Whereas if you've got a pulley system, you don't have to worry about it, and that gives me some different things there. Yeah, if in that time I get a wireless thing, those pulleys are just stuck to the ceiling with sticky stuff that comes straight off, so leaves no marks, so no one will ever know. Yeah, so not a problem. So that's not an issue at all. So we've got that whole thing there, and that can work out just fine, and will. But of course, I have two sort of like parts done up. One is done for there and the racing rig. So you've got like one that's roughly above or just behind. I kind of misplaced that. I need to line that one up better for the new rig. So I'll line that up a bit better when I get the new rig in place. Um, but you need to always remember when you do use one of these, even for a racing rig, you need a minimum of two pulleys. And that is because, well, it depends. Uh, if your rig is behind you, then you only need the one because you can just go straight up and it can hang around, not a problem. But there you go. And yeah, that's the other point is battery power. Yeah, is also a downside. You don't have the issue over power when you have a tethered system. So that's the other advantage, of course, to tethered VR is you don't have to worry about power. So yeah, yeah. But it would be cool to have fully wireless. Definitely would be on board when it's more practical and it does everything that I need. Because not quite there, I think, for performance wise and everything else. So yeah, I'm good with the Valve index that I've got at the moment. And I think I will be for a while. And yeah, Great Tantrum is quite right there. Wireless does induce latency, compression, battery power issues, and they're all things that kind of be resolved at some point. But for now, if you want the the best quality for VR, um, that has its own side, different things. Wireless and standalone VR has other benefits though. Being truly wireless or having something that feels as close to wireless as possible in room scale or even larger scale. Things like what you do with Space Pirates DX and the arena scale stuff is incredible to do. And, you know, that does require something that's a different level. Well, it's amazing you can do that now with, things. But the latency issue, it can be, but not so much now. Not so much. But these things will come along as we move on, but not quite yet. So um, make the best that we can with a practical solution, and that is the practical solution. And as you can see, like I say, you need two if you've got a wire and a racing rig like this, because it's not enough to just keep the wire above your head so it's not trailing down. It's that you have to keep it out of the way of the wheel as well. Because if that wire trails down in front of you and near the wheel, all sorts of disastrous things could happen. So, making sure that wire is truly out of the way of not only yourself but any other sim equipment and your movements and any other moving parts is really important when dealing with a tether there. And that's what I found really great about this as well, especially with the sticky pad things where I could just stick them straight to the ceiling because I don't have like that bubbly Arctic stuff. I've got like a flat type ceiling, so that worked out perfectly. Very pleased with that. Right, I need to look at the wrapping this up. So put you back on a stand there. Now a little bit of drink. I hope you will enjoy this sort of like longer rambling that I'm going to have to try and divide up into timestamps at some point. Um, oh, I know there's some things that I missed as well back there, like Darth Vader in the background on the shelf and different things like that. But yeah, and my One Piece stuff. But if you like your anime and One Piece, then you'll recognise where that comes from. Right, okay, so boom, boom, boom. Desks, this, that, the other, great. Um, if you like this, I'll try and put up do another stream like this, but more likely when the rig is replaced. So that's the main thing I think is here's the the rig is now um get out of the way. So that's the rig is now. And tomorrow I shall be looking forward to getting a new GT Omega Prime rig. Um, and that will probably last me forever because those things are like so solid. Whenever you get like an aluminium extrusion, they're so adaptable that you can, as long as it's strong enough, you can add to it, you can adapt it, you can change it, you can do so much with aluminium extrusions over some of the other types of rigs that you have out there. And they're a little bit, you can mix and match them a little bit as well because they have common measurements, which is really, really cool. So where I've got the GT Omega Prime cockpit coming, it's I've got parts from other companies coming as well. So where GT Omega would have something like a PC mount that can be put onto the aluminium extrusion. Yeah, yeah. You don't need to unwind because they're self-unwinding, winding. Be kind, rewind. I got you. Old reference that a lot of people may not got. But there you go. Where was he? Rewinding. Rewinding. We're all about rewinding again. Oh, you got me stuck there. What did you do? The outro was going so well, and then it didn't happen. Okay. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. That is just silly, silly, silly. Okay. Yeah. So we're gonna have the new cockpit arriving tomorrow, and then I'll hopefully have that all being built up and ready for some point. So hopefully you like this video. Um, I'll try and put timestamps as well. Um, and I'll try and do another thing like this if people like that, comments are appreciated. Anybody who's joined in the stream and sort of like uh, added value to the stream in conversation is greatly appreciated. Those who are not here for the live, if you've got any comments or questions, put them in the questions down below on the YouTube channel, and I try to get back to anybody who asks questions there as well. And we'll see maybe a part deux at some point when I have the new cockpit in place and give the feedback on that. So yeah, need to get a bit more back into the streaming at different points, like I've said, and it'll be good to see the comparison because I've gone from a lot of different things here, from just GT29 on the most rickety stand you can think of, to a more solid stance, to a more solid stand, to a stand that you can then convert to a rig, to a more powerful beer indeed. Um, to a more powerful steering wheel that requires a little bit more stability, different things like that, to having that on a full rig, i.e. that, to the new DD, where I want to get rid of flex, this and that, and just make it more stable overall so that I really get the best that I can get from the equipment that I've got. Um, so hopefully you get to see a bit more of that progression again, and hopefully I'll get back to doing some more regular streams, maybe some of the morning streams that I was doing in preparation for Ham VR's Friday streams, which if you haven't checked out HamVR's Friday streams, by the way, of the GT4 with Assetto Corsa Competizione, I'm often joined in there. We've got Kevy D that's in there. We've got AeroX, he's on there as well. Um, Go check out HamVR's channel on that side for what he does there with the Friday competition in Competizione. How odd is that? You have a competition, a championship in Competizione. It's the Competizione in Competizione of the Ham VR. And on that note, we'll see you again, and hopefully I'll have a more stable rig there and a different comparison. And maybe at some point I will have my paintings hung up and some other bits and bobs around the place done, and have it looking a little bit more like a, a, a VR gaming professional streaming space with all of the different colours that are going on with the lighting. Right, on that, goodbye, good night, and we'll see you again. Bye.